All right, I'm going to drop a StreamYard link in the chat here. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. Anyone can click that link and get in here and talk to old Rick. Even someone who's not a real fan can do that. And I'm not thrilled with the Godsey hire, but I would be interested to have, I'm going to take whatever call comes in, but I'm far more interested in talking to people who think I'm a moron or that love the hire, that think I'm way off base. If you qualify for that, click the link. You can come in here and tell me I'm an idiot and not just type in the comments section. Maybe we can get somewhere. Oh, and also, don't worry. Gib West says in 1962 things were fine, so nothing to worry about here, boys. Nothing to see here.
Doctor say he's coming, but you gotta pay him cash. They were rushing down that freeway, messed around and got lost. They didn't care, they were just dying to get off. And it was life in the fast lane. Sure to make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything, all the time. Life in the fast lane.
Also, this is actually a legitimate thing to say. If you don't like the Eagles, I actually don't think you're a music fan. That I actually think is a fair statement.
Life in the fast lane.
Again, if you want to call in, just click that link at the top of the chat. You'll be in here in the StreamYard. Anyone can do it. And we'll hash this thing out here. We'll solve the world's problems on a Sunday night.
Salutations and evening. Good to see you.
You know it ain't easy for these thoughts to leave me. There are no words to describe it in French or in English. 'Cause diamonds they fade, flowers they bloom, and I'm telling you, these feelings won't go away. They even knocking me sideways. They even knocking me out there. Ever you come around me.
So, Godsey being under Montkin for a few years is better than Faulkner coming from UGA, even though Montkin came from UGA. I think I said good logic.
These feelings won't go away. These feelings won't go.
That guy's not a real fan.
It ain't easy for these thoughts here to leave me. There are no words to describe it in French or in English. Diamonds they fade,
Again, if you want to call in, StreamYard link at the top of the chat. I haven't been live in a while, so hop on in here.
These feelings won't go away. They've been knocking me sideways. They've been knocking me out late. Whenever you come around with, these feelings won't go away. They've been knocking.
So if you're lonely, you know I'm here waiting for you. I'm just
Doesn't matter that he had his play calling abilities revoked. He was under Monken for 2 or 3 years.
and if you leave here, you leave me broken, shattered and light. I'm just a crosshair. I'm just a shot, then we can die.
Well, look, you're welcome to call in if you like the hire. Whenever I see people getting especially spicy with me in a comment section, they never call in. And the thing is, when they do, I'm not an asshole to you. Like, we had Colorado fans call in. Lord knows I had basically said their coach was the dumbest guy of all time. I give them their due. People just get really brave in a comment section. They generally don't call in. All right, I see someone in the back room. Give me 1 second. We'll get in here, too. We'll start doing this thing.
I say, don't you know? You say you don't know. I say, take me out. I say, you don't show. Don't move, time slow. I say, take me out. I say, you don't know. You say you don't go. I say, take me out. If I move, this could die. If I move, this could die. I want you to take me out. I know I won't be leaving here. I know I won't be leaving here. I know.
All right, well, let's just get into this thing. You know what? Let's put a little background behind the text, the chat there. I actually have a whole new setup in here. I just built a new computer to have solely to stay in here. I hope y'all are all having a great night. It's been rough. I mean, I think we can all agree on one thing. It's been rough being a Georgia Tech fan lately. I think we can at least all agree on that, right? Let's get this fixed here. Bring the chat box to the front. Bring to the top, sir. And we need a new color for this. We'll go through the chat in a second, and then we'll pick up some calls. Black's the color we need, right? Yep. All right, let's go through the chat here again. If you want to call in, we got Brandon K on deck in here. You can call in by clicking the link pinned to the top of the chat, StreamYard link. It's so easy, even a non-fan like me can do it. Jahunty V2 says, you're dumb, you're welcome. All right, yeah. Appreciate that. Not the first time I've heard that. Won't be the last. And in some areas, I am dumb. I really am. Michael Butler says, go Jackets. Mr. Burns says, you big dummy. That's how I feel right now. Elizabeth, I'm coming to see you. Remember, Rec, you're not allowed to be negative or else you aren't a Tech fan. That is correct. Rec, you don't like the Godsey hire, do you? I do not. Chops Babe, 1088 says, Rec is the man. Georgia Man says, I'm down bad. Your recent videos has helped me a little bit. Thanks, Rec. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Goldfell X says, go Jackets. Can't believe we have some Georgia Tech fans acting dumb and entitled as FSU fans. That's the thing. The especially, like, here's like this Gib West comment that I read in the last video. He's already commented again. See, I made you. I got under your skin. I win. Huzzah. This is the exact same thing I saw from Colorado fans, from some Georgia fans, from FSU fans. Once you just completely show how stupid they are, then they say, well, you responded to it, so I win. It's the dumbest. It's middle school shit. Who do we got here? Big Orange. I like some classic rock now. Y'all speaking my language. Who haven't we had? Jack W. Thoughts on Calandria visiting tomorrow? I don't know much about Calandria. I know he's at Virginia, and then he went to UNLV. I know at Virginia, I want to say he wasn't anything to write home about, though. I'm not, I didn't really keep up with UNLV, though. Pete McGaha says, this song gets me thinking about NASCAR for some odd reason. Maybe because it's called Life in the Fast Lane. Maybe that would be why. Mr. Goat says, you're not dumb, take a breath, and knee face out. I don't know what that means, knee face out. Is that a typo? Or is that some lingo I'm not aware of? NFL experience and under Montkin. I don't understand why that matters. There's a Facebook post that I saw someone made in one of the Facebook groups. It's like, look at all the quarterbacks he's developed, though. He was on staff when Matt Stafford was with the Lions in 2017 and 2018. And immediately I'm thinking, when was Matt Stafford drafted, though? He was on the Georgia team when they were preseason number 1 in 2008. He was drafted in 2009. So the man was on the team since 2009, but George Godsey gets credit for developing him? Like, I don't understand that. And then everyone they name are like people that are old quarterbacks that had decent seasons. By the way, Stafford wasn't one of them. He had one of the worst seasons of his career, though that a lot of that had to do with his back injury. Who else do we need to get to in here? Homebrew Buzz says, I'm here because misery loves company. Everything sports cards and gaming. Have we actually heard anything from Key on this hire? No, not to my knowledge. But I'll tell you this, like when ESPN, was it Pete Thamos or whatever his name is, whenever that guy reports it, I haven't really seen that. There's one exception. I've seen him report something that wasn't the case, and that was actually Willie Fritz when we kind of pulled a switch in time, save 9 thing and hired Key. Coffee Killer I would call in, but I literally can't. All right, we're just going to get to the bottom of this. Let's get to some calls here. I think Brandon K was first, then we'll get to Mr. Burns. Brandon, you're on with Wreck. What do you think, man?
How are you going? First of all, let me just say, great content.
Appreciate it.
So I don't like this hire. It feels really juvenile and inexperienced. I don't like I love Brent Key, but I don't think this was great.
Okay.
He kind of just got decimated.
I'm just going to let you know I'm going to play devil's advocate since you're taking the position that you don't like the hire. He does have a lot of experience, though. I think he's got, 15 something years of experience in coaching. So how is it you're saying he's not experienced?
I mean, like it just feels like he hasn't been like an OC for a long time. Like I've watched her videos and I didn't do much research before. I just feel like there were better hires, if that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, he has 2 years experience as being an OC. I think in both of them, his play calling duties were revoked. I know in one. I mean, my position has been, if he's such a good OC, why has he been a tight ends coach for the past 3 years or whatever?
And if you look at how the Ravens have done this year in that area, they really haven't been great. I feel like I
think their defense was really bad, and our old DC is their linebackers coach, which is interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know. It just feels really bad, really rushed, and really just last minute. Like we couldn't get anyone else, like you said.
Well, I wouldn't say it's rushed. It seemed like if you're taking this long to make a hire, you would probably have a better pick than like Godsey. who just doesn't
Yeah.
have the resume you would expect. The big thing for me is you have all this buy-in from the program and all this money that should be freed up. You lose Philo, you lose all your staff, you lose Faulkner. We're losing Canyon, which that wasn't really factored in because that came in right around the time of the hire. But you do all that. You say you have 36 candidates or whatever, and then you hire a guy that hasn't coached in college in a decade or so. It's just curious to me.
It feels weird. Like, can I bring up Clemson's hire of Chad Morris a little bit
Go
here
ahead.
because it feels like they're rehiring someone that
It's a retread.
he has done well in the past. It doesn't mean that he's going to do well here. And to your point, Godsey hasn't been in college football, but college football has changed so much just in the past 5 years. We can't expect either of them to really do well, right? Like, maybe they do.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you bring up Clemson. I've seen people talking about this that are, I guess, in the dissenting position of Dabo really likes to hire former players. You know, he likes to hire alumni, he likes to hire friends, people he's close with, and people will say, well, look at the condition Clemson's in right now. It doesn't seem like that's been an equation for success.
It might be his downfall, honestly, if I had to say something about, and I think Dabo's a great coach, but I mean, it might be his downfall that he doesn't get away from that sort of formula. But that's, again, Clemson's program. But again, we come back to Godsey. He doesn't have much experience really as an OC. He has a lot of experience overall.
Yeah.
How's this going to translate into, and if the rumors are true, and I know you had said that you have seen Brent Key get physical with his players, with his coaches.
I saw it firsthand.
Yeah. And I'm like, I never saw Nick Saban do that. Like, he might chew their asses out, which he rightfully should. But I mean, it just feels like a toxic environment now. I don't want to say that under it because I love Brent Key, but now all this happening, we should take a better look.
Well, there's a few things. One, let's address. Let's say that he did have success as an OC in the NFL. I would still be a little suspect because the college game and the NFL game are just they might as well be different sports. They're so different. So my biggest worry here is this is a guy that hasn't coached in college in like 10 years. That's a big concern. What was the other part you were talking about?
I can't even remember now. I'm sorry, my friend.
It's all good.
Now, I want to counter. You're right. Just look at how Bill Belichick has done. And I know there are other certain factors around that, but let's be honest, his first year has not gone great. If you take all the BS with his girlfriend out, it has not gone well.
Yeah, I think that to me that's apples and oranges. I remember you were talking about, there's been a lot of people talking about. In fact, GT Fan. And I don't know if he deleted his account or whatever he did, but one of the last things that he posted on Twitter was like internal issues with the staff. When I look at this, I'm like, okay, I see the guy all but assault Andrew Thacker at the Bowling Green game. To me, they're like, yeah, you can chew someone's ass. But what I saw is him rip a towel off his face, basically slapped him with the towel, got nose to nose with him and ripped his headset off. Most people you do that to, they're going to beat your ass for doing. I mean, this is now. I'm like, do I need to defend myself or what? So if that's what I'm seeing publicly on the sideline, I wonder what goes on behind the scenes. And I didn't question it as much. I haven't really brought it up until now because now I've seen a mass exodus of staff and staff going to different schools. Not like all the offensive staff are following Buster to Florida. You've got Jeep Wade going to Nebraska. You have Mike Norvell going to Virginia Tech. I mean, the only ones left's Winky. So I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. There's a lot of people commenting about this online. I don't know, but I suspect it's not great, just based on the evidence we have.
I would agree with you. And again,
Yeah.
going by your commentary, I believe what you're saying. You've seen it firsthand. So
Yeah.
I don't like that that's happening. Right? That's not a good image.
Yeah.
That's not a great image for the Georgia Institute of Technology on any level.
Well, it's not. It's even aside from image, and then we'll move on to the next call. It's not good for retaining staff. Certainly,
Yeah.
I would think. But anyways, well, man, I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
Thanks for supporting the show.
Hey, thank you. Just keep putting out content. I'm gonna like and do everything I can.
All right, appreciate
Thank you,
it, buddy.
sir.
Yeah, we're gonna ban him. He's not a real fan. Not a real fan. Appreciate the $2. I missed it from Coffee Killer. Says salutations and evening wreck. Good to see you. Yeah, appreciate the $2 super chat, Mr. Burns. I'll be interested to know what you think about this. What do you think about this Georgia Godsey hire?
Well, he was not at the very high on my list, and really, he wasn't even on my radar.
Okay.
But I guess we're going to give him a chance. But if we keep talking about having some kind of a toxic environment in the locker room or at the flats or whatever about football, I honestly believe that Buster has been enchanted all year, and he probably got hired behind the scenes at Florida right around our downfall at
Pittsburgh,
North Carolina State.
NC State. Yeah, I would agree. Somewhere around that time frame, I'd say things might have started.
He was hired and was on his way out by then, and but what I don't understand is the people above Key, the administration. They have to know what's going on. They can't be that damn blind.
Yeah, and I don't know because, obviously, I've never been on a staff, but it does seem like if kind of what we think's going on is going on, and that's the reason we've seen this exodus and post an extension, right? Yeah. Alpert would take Key aside and be like, "Brother, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but it needs to change yesterday." Okay, like you got to start evolving, whatever it is. Maybe it's not toxic environment. I have no idea. Whatever it is needs to be fixed, though.
Yeah, we think there's a toxic environment because of why would Jeep Wade leave Atlanta, Georgia, and go in a cornfield where the snow's 2 foot deep? That doesn't make sense to me. And if Albert and them knew that there is, and the GM and everybody know that there's something wrong, why in the world would they give Key a extension and a $3 million raise?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, obviously we're speculating. I don't know what.
That's what I'm saying is that our speculation of the toxic environment may be wrong, because surely the higher ups, they can sense spoilage in the locker room, and
sure,
if they wouldn't have give Key a raise and they would have let Penn State or whoever hire him away, and then we could, because we've cleaned house anyway.
Yeah,
all but Key and Winky. So we all we'd have done is let them hire him away, and we start over again, and maybe get somebody that's in tune with what's going on and bring a good staff in. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was hoping we would hire a OC from a successful offense somewhere, and they would bring in their
quarterback
staff.
Yeah,
quarterback staff and staff.
Yeah, because I mean, even the quarterbacks I'm seeing now that we're targeting, I'm a little confused about, like French at Georgia Southern, Calandria, and I'll have to go back. I don't know about him at UNLV, but yeah, it's I mean, I don't know what to think. The worry is, and why I've been kind of down, is you did sign him to this big extension. I was on, what was it, the Swarm forums earlier today, and someone posted like, well, if Key doesn't figure this out in 2 years, he's gone. No, you'd owe him like $18 million if you fired him after 2 years. And I'm not at all advocating for firing the guy. What I am saying is whatever issues you have, you're probably going to be dealing with for the next 3 years at a minimum.
Yeah. When he was on the interview or the newsreel or whatever, his news deal, where he said that he had 36 people on his list, I think that was just fodder for the media. I think he might have had a short list, and it probably, and I'm not so sure that the Kelly guy wasn't just a dog and pony show. There never was a
So we did
desire
interview
to-
him. That
yeah.
there's a few
and I
facts
don't-
we
I
know.
think-
That's one.
Yeah, we know that he interviewed him, but I think it was just all for show that
Oh,
he
that
never had
Godsey
any-
was going to be the guy no matter what. Like
yes.
that. Okay.
That
I kind of
I-
I agree with that probably. I could.
I think he was going to hire Godsey the day Buster went out the door. He just interviewed 2 or 3 people to make everybody think he was doing his job. Maybe I kind of get that feeling.
Well, I'll tell you what I think, and we'll move on to King season here. I don't know that it was the minute that Buster left. I think when Buster left, and then everyone basically started putting their notice in soon after, assuming that just based on what I've seen of Key on the sideline, he might say, "Well, let me bring in my old roommate and playing partner and coaching partner, and then he'll be more apt to deal with this horseshit than these other guys that I don't have this history with." That's kind of what I tend to believe.
Well, I agree. That's the good old boys club. Everybody knows their habits and they overlook their faults. I agree.
Yeah. Well, all right, Mr. Burns, I appreciate it, buddy. As always, thank you so much.
Go Jackets.
All right, Mr. Burns. Remember, winning ain't free. Send a check, even if it's only what does he say? $100 every calendar quarter, be $60 million annually. I think I've got it memorized now. Mr. Jones, how are you, sir?
Doing good, Rick. How are you, man?
Good. I think I know what you think. I think I've seen you on Twitter. I don't think you're a fan of this hire, right?
I absolutely hate it. I think it might be the worst hire we've seen on the flats, and probably since Collins.
Wow. So why do you think it's on par with being as bad as Collins?
I don't think it'll be as bad of a hire as that because Collins was the head
What
coach.
about Pat Node? Is it as bad as Pat Node in your mind?
I don't know. We got to see how Godsey does. He's been an offensive coordinator for at max 2 years at the NFL level. He was fired. Bill O'Brien had to take over the offensive coordinator role because these were the headlines during those years because of a historically bad offense. So his play calling duties were taken over because of a historically bad offense. So I don't know how bad it'll be, but I hate the hire because a direct quote from years ago from Brent Key, George Godsey is my best friend, and he was my best man at his wedding. That's how I view this hire. He hired his best friend and the best man at his wedding.
Yeah, the other thing I remember, because I think we courted him, or we tried to under Collins when we hired Chip. What was that guy's name from Notre Dame that had been at Notre Dame?
Chip Long.
Chip Long. And I think Godsey was like, well, look, I'm in the NFL. I don't really want to recruit. Like, it's not my thing.
Because he was a co-OC at that time.
Right. So, like, if I'm in the NFL and I don't have to worry about all of the bullshit that goes on, over 30% of players, take all the players in college football, all over 30% of them are in the portal in day 2 of this thing. So, yeah, I'm sure he didn't want to deal with that. And then my thing is, well, everyone said, screw Chip Kelly. He can't recruit. And then it's like, well, Godsey's coming in. He says he doesn't really care for recruiting. Oh, yeah, but Winky will fix that. Winky will worry about that. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, well then why not get a guy that won a national title as an OC recently if you can? I don't quite. Why the moving the goalpost on the recruiting narrative? I don't get that.
I'll say this though. I think with what Burns said, I think he's 100% right because obviously we're not big fans of Kelly Quinlan here. But I will say this: I think when Kelly says something, I think there is basis behind it. I don't think he doesn't.
I think
I don't think
sometimes,
he
yeah.
spews. Right. So, Rec, I will tell you what he said yesterday. Right.
Is this in
I'm gonna-
JOL? Is what he said
Yep.
in JOL? Okay.
Yep. These were his words when Buster left, and they were still recruiting players. Apparently Winky and Key were telling recruits who he really wanted to hire, and who he was telling recruits is now who the new OC is. So I think Burns is 100% right. I think Key wanted to hire Godsey. That he was telling recruits and he was telling portal players and whoever, Godsey is our new OC, and I think that's kind of why it's shit now, and we're having to turn towards Anthony Calandria and Bo Prabula for quarterback. I think that's why it's so shit, because if I'm a player, okay, can you offer me more money than an SEC team is? And if not, why the hell are you hiring George Godsey as your fucking offensive coordinator?
What?
So here's what I don't understand. Let me just accept that as true so I can go down this logical path here, illogical path.
Mhm.
If you knew who your OC was going to be the minute before Faulkner left, why wait until the portal period has already started to name them? That's what I'm
don't know.
confused about.
I think kind of what happened is maybe like Burns said, like he had a short list. I could see that where obviously he did interview the guy from UNLV. He interviewed Chip Kelly. I could see maybe he wanted to do it the proper way, but he probably did want Godsey. He just wanted to do it the proper way by interviewing a bunch of people. But I think with the DC leaving and going to Texas, I think that maybe kind of blindsided Key, and he couldn't do it the way he wanted to, so he had to hurry up and scramble and just say, okay, Godsey's the guy.
I just still don't get you. Who did we interview? Dennis. We interviewed Kelly.
Kelly and Dennis were the two confirmed, I think.
So
Those were confirmed by Thamel.
Okay, so why couldn't, this is what I don't get. Why couldn't you, after you interview them two people, let another week go by? Then you'd still have a
don't know.
week between naming Godsey, doing those interviews, and the portal opening.
I'd love to know when he's announcing this DC.
Yeah, and so I guess a lot of people are saying, was it Eric Henderson, the guy who's interim DC at USC or something? That's a
He's
tech
supposed to be
alum?
a really good. He's supposed to be a really good recruiter. So that might be a good hire. I don't know.
Maybe. My concern is that it's just like he's a tech guy, so we got to get him.
Oh
And
yeah, I don't know if you. By the way, I don't know if you saw, because you're live. We did just get a commitment from a Rutgers defensive lineman.
Oh well, that's good. That's good.
He's 2024. He had 4 sacks and like 15 tackles, and then last year his production went down. He had 25 tackles and 1 sack. So 5 sacks over the past 2 years. I mean, it's not ideal, but I'm not really complaining at this point with how bad things are right now.
Yeah, I've seen this too, by the way, this Pruitt thing, and like I don't
want Pruitt.
appreciate the sub from Chuck Roberts. Here's my take on that. He has a show cause order right now, and then there's a lot of confusion because everyone sues everybody. Let's just recap what's happened with Pruitt. Pruitt cheated at Tennessee to such an extent that the NCAA actually did something about it, which is you have to be pretty bad. Now, obviously, he was paying players before it was legal to do it. Nonetheless, it was against the rules to do, and it was fairly egregious. So now he has a show cause order, which means that if you want to hire Pruitt in college, he's working for the Giants right now, you have to go to the NCAA and justify that hire to them, and then they put limitations on what he can do. Does that sound? That almost sounds like getting married and signing a prenup to me. It just sounds like an awful beginning to hiring a coordinator.
Yeah, and my thing is with and my biggest thing with the Godsey hire, right? If this was 2 or 3 years ago and we never hired Buster Faulkner and we were still kind of down on our luck when it came to financials, I would say, okay, I can't completely hate the Godsey hire because that's key hiring has been.
Went away for a second. Go ahead.
But you were just paying Buster to be. Sorry, you were just paying Buster to be a top 3 highest paid OC in the ACC and one of the highest paid coordinators in the country. And now going from that, you're gonna hire Pruitt and Godsey. You were so easy to pay Buster all this money, but now we're acting selfish with the money. I don't get it.
Well, it begs the question, is it a money problem or is it something else? Like, is the money there and there's some other issue?
I think it's a key problem.
It could be. I don't know. I mean,
I'll
either
say this.
one's not good. Either you have money and you're not using it, you don't have money and you're lying about having money, or you do have money and no one wants to come here. All
I'll
three of
say
those
this,
are
Rick.
awful.
I think I hate to say this. I don't think you're all the way there yet, but I think you're kind of like you're realizing there's some stuff going on. I hate to say this.
Well, obviously I know. Obviously I know, but
I think I'm off the key train. I'm not saying fire the guy. I'm not saying that because you have to fire someone based on results. And we did win 9 games this year, so I'm not saying fire the guy. But when I say I'm off the key train, I don't think he will win anything here. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he will be I don't think he'll be successful here long term.
I'll say this and we'll move on to the next call. I think you're on like the top of the fulcrum here, and the seesaw is gonna go one or two ways. Let's just assume, for argument's sake, that there is some issue internally, as has been reported publicly on Twitter by people that I trust. He's either going to recognize that and say, you know what, maybe I got ahead of my skis here, and I really need to do some soul searching and change how I do things. Or this is going to get ugly, I think, in a bad way. One of those two things is going to happen, I think.
Key's next career goal is putting together a winning season next year.
All right,
and
Rick, I'm
rebuilding
going to
the
hop
culture,
off of here
I
and let you
guess.
move on to the next one.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate the $10 super chat from T Branch. Says Key's next career goal is putting together a winning season next year and rebuilding the culture. I guess remains to be seen. Nerd Stop, what's going on, buddy?
Hey man, I know it's been a bit, and I'm usually very super. Well, here I'm just so confused about this hire. I don't understand. If we couldn't get Chip Kelly and we couldn't get the guy from UNLV, why couldn't we promote Winky, a guy who has had some sort of experience play calling for us, and let him be the hot hand coming in and seeing if that's the decision.
Sure.
This whole thing just makes no sense to me, and I want to be okay, well, let's give it a shot, but Godsey's resume is not very good. It's I believe whenever he was in with the Texans, whenever he had Brock Osweiler, there's a callback. As soon as he was relieved of his play calling duties, they went on to have one of the better offenses in the league, which, doesn't really show for much. And again, that's pro, and it's not the college game. But
Sure.
the other part of me is well, maybe this will be fine. Surely Alpert wouldn't let Key just make just an off the dome hire just because he wanted to, and not be okay, well, that's fine. That'll be a decent hire for us. Let's go after it. Unless we had no money to spend, which that would be crazy considering how much money we've been saying we've been saving up. and
Well,
have
sure.
been.
I think Alpert, like, you have to give your head coach the autonomy to hire who he thinks
Yeah,
is best. So, if he's your guy, you got to let him. Like, you can't micromanage him. But it's a
right.
little head scratching.
And apparently, I just went over to the Reddit on. Apparently, I just found my answer for why not Winky. Winky doesn't want to be promoted. He just wants to be the QB coach. So there's that.
I've heard that as well. From
That-
more reputable sources than Twitter or Reddit too. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I just have no way to what to make heads or tails of this hire right now. I'm gonna be just I'll let it ride, see how it goes, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then we can do the song and dance next year, I guess.
I'm with you.
It's just
Like, look,
it's
I'm still going to be out here supporting the team, and I'm going to be
course.
rooting for George Godsey just because I look at the facts that surround whether or not this appears to be a good hire. Doesn't mean that
Yeah.
I don't know why people have taken me being critical of the hire as like, oh,
No.
I'm out. Like, I don't really
right.
get that, but
Yeah, no. I
hope I'm
totally
wrong.
get that. Exactly. And I get the point of view that if I really I think our fan base and as a whole has a whole lot of I commented this on your video that you posted this morning. Our fan base might be a bit toxic, and we don't have any reason to be. We haven't won anything lately. We don't have a reason to be like, well, if you don't like what's happening, you don't deserve it. And it's just
Well, I mean, look, every fan base has complete psychos, and to be fair, I'm dealing with like the bottom of the barrel people on Twitter and people that like I understand that. It's just the whole well, just go root for UGA whilst you claim to
Yeah.
be a Georgia Tech fan because you got your little feelings hurt. I don't understand
it's
that.
just these people
It's
are
weird.
ridiculous. And but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Y'all
All
have a great night. Go Jackets, man.
Appreciate it. We got Brent used the portal and Joe the Pilot on deck. Let me first address Tilo says, why Chip Kelly? He got fired and ran out of the NFL because my position has always been the NFL and college are two completely different games. So yeah, he failed in the NFL, also recently won a national title as an OC. So that is important to me. Like just because, someone was recently fired in the NFL doesn't necessarily mean it goes both ways. That doesn't mean that I think that they're going to fail in college. Just because someone was successful in the NFL definitely doesn't mean I think they're going to be successful in college. I'm on record ranting about this for hours with Bill Belichick. I feel that I've been fairly consistent on it. Brent used the portal. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Rhett? Can you hear me good?
I can.
All right, that's good because it's usually all muffly. Anyway, yeah, my title, Brent used the portal. I think the portal, honestly, and I don't want to come on here and just be negative and complain, but I am one of those Tech fans that is kind of down right now. I know a lot of our fan base is trying to stay optimistic, but I'm one of the ones who just can't right now. And I think that the portal is the only thing that can save us right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously the case. You had like the 40-something ranked recruiting class. You've lost Isaiah Canyon, you've lost Aaron Philo, you've lost every center that has an in-game snap, to my knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, again, being a fan doesn't mean that you just have to sit here and smile losing 4 of your last 5 and a gut-wrenching bowl loss. Like, you get to be like, man, I think that's kind of bullshit. Like, I think that's okay.
Yeah. And look, I know that 9 wins is good for a school like Georgia Tech. I'm not taking anything away from it. And 9-4, when you look at the record, it's not a bad record. It's the way that you went 9-4.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, I just don't understand how these people are so optimistic about that. It's like you had the ACC title appearance in your hands, and you sat there at the beginning of November having a chance, and you just lost.
And you had the game at home in a night environment, and people showed up all season. That's been the big criticism of Tech football and their fans. Like, oh, well, you don't show up for your own home games and blah, blah, blah. Well, they
Yeah.
did this year. They did
And look,
show
the
up.
fans, okay, the fans, here's my thing with the fans, like attendance and whatnot. I think it is important to a degree. Like, I don't think that, like, I'll use the Bowling Green game for an example. When we lost that game, there were a lot of Tech fans that were like, oh, well, it's the fans' fault. And I'm like, how is it the fans' fault?
Yeah.
Because, all this kind of stuff. And then we have the Pitt game. Bobby Dodd Stadium, I'm not even lying to you, and I am a younger fan. That was probably the loudest I've heard Bobby Dodd Stadium in my entire life.
Right. And then we got down 28-0.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that happens. And I mean, then I was thinking, and I'm like, it has to be coaching. It has to be. There's no way you get down 4 scores in front of that crowd. There's no way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's the other fan policing thing is like, well, you don't show up to the games. It's the fans' fault. Like, look, I've never coached a down of football. I don't work for Georgia Tech. Somehow people seem to think that I do. I see Crowded Booth in here. Why do you hate Tech? It's crazy, isn't it? Because as I said in the last video, like, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be upset about it. The weird thing is that I expect more from Tech than these people that claim to be diehard fans do.
Yeah,
that's
and
what it
I'm
is.
with you on that. I expect more from Tech too, and why? Because I've seen us at the highest of the highs, man. Like of course not the highest of the high, but I mean, I saw us win the Orange Bowl, and I saw us win the ACC in 2009. So yeah, I mean, of course, my expectations are going to be higher than like these people who haven't seen that and who have only seen Georgia Tech be bad. Like, I feel like those people are the type of people that just have short memories with Tech or like new fans, because we do have new fans. Like, people go to the school and whatnot, and they just don't know the history. Like we know the history. Like, we know what Tech is capable of, and we're capable of winning an ACC championship. We are.
Yeah. Am I still out if Key pays Godsey $1 million a year? I'm gonna be completely distraught about that. I mean, if Key pays Godsey $1 million a year when it's not due, then I mean, what would you want me to do? So, yeah. Because the thing is, if I don't come in here and say that that's some kind of 500 IQ move, then a bunch of you are going to come in here and be like, well, you hate Tech, you're not a real fan, you don't support the program, even though that would be factually stupid.
Yeah. Speaking of the Godsey hire, I'm just going to go ahead and get my opinion out on it. I think it's an awful hire. Now, look, I'm not saying that he's going to be unsuccessful. I'm not saying that he's going to crap the bed and win 3 and go 3-9. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think it's an awful hire in the sense of who you could have gotten and the fact that you waited so long to hire George Godsey. Like, I was expecting, like, oh, he is taking his time. He must be really on that wait list for Chip Kelly or some other high-end offensive coordinator. No. So it's the fact that it was, like, disappointing that I had to wait this long. But to sum it up, yeah, I think it was an awful hire, personally.
Appreciate it, man. Well, thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
Supporting the show. Yeah, so Credit Boost says, before we get to Joe, the pilot, expecting more doesn't equal hating. That is a massive issue with the fan base currently. Being critical means you are pushing for the program to be better because you expect more. Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird that, like, you ask people preseason what the expectations are. And I know we've both done this. Like, what are your expectations for the team? And they're always things that have never happened consistently at Tech before, which is 9-10 wins or more, ACC title, looking into the playoffs. You had that all in front of you, and then it dissipated like a fart in the wind. And I don't have to sit here and be jovial about that. I mean, yeah, like, being critical doesn't equal hating. Here, let me frame it this way before we go to Joe. Let's go back a few months. Let's say everyone was retained at Tech. We ended up winning the ACC. Buster wins Coordinator of the Year and stays. King goes to New York. And then Georgia loses 4 of their last 5 or something. They lose every member of their offensive staff minus 1. Their DC leaves the day the portal opens. Wouldn't all of Tech fans be pointing and laughing at Kirby? Because I know I would. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, something's wrong in Athens. What a complete dumpster fire. Yet when it happens to your team, somehow it's a 500 IQ move. That's my whole thing has always been, at least be consistent in your outrage. At least be consistent in your argument. I don't see a lot of that at the moment. What's going on, Joe?
Yo.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh,
What do you think?
hold on. I can't hear you.
Joe can't hear me. And back-to-back championship 21-22. It's Cope because it is Cope. And I would like, while Joe's figuring this out, to ask some of these people, and so Joe will come back in. I would like to ask some of these people, in your mind, has anything bad ever happened ever at Georgia Tech? Has there ever been a player that hit the portal that you thought wasn't a big deal? Let me give you some examples. Every time, like Isaiah Canyon hits the portal, replaceable, don't need him. What about Kyle Kennard? Don't you think we could have used Kyle Kennard? Goes on to be all SEC, best defensive lineman in the country. What about Romello Height? You think we could have used Romello Height this year? But when he left, replaceable. Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now.
All right, what do you think about this, man?
Well, I mean, I think Godsey. I mean, it's you hiring your best friend. It's a cop out hire. I don't think anybody wanted to coach with Key. I think Jeep Wade, when he left, told everybody, he was like, "Yeah, this guy's a dick."
Oh,
I mean,
as far as
honestly.
potential candidates, like obviously, if that's the case, everyone on staff already knew that. But you're saying he kind of put the word out, like, yeah, you don't want to go to Atlanta. Okay.
That's my opinion, but because I mean, it's like Chip Kelly, like you said. Chip Kelly went to Northwestern.
Yeah. Twirling Wiener
Like
car wash.
Northwestern. So why are we? I mean, I think Georgia Tech is definitely in a different tier than Northwestern, and why are we even competing with Northwestern to hire an offensive coordinator?
I definitely think Atlanta's more of an attractive place. I mean, where the hell even is Northwestern? I don't even know.
Somewhere in Illinois, I think. Chicago, maybe.
Exactly. Continue.
Yeah, I mean, you go up there, work there, you get shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely surprised me that he goes to Northwestern. I mean, that either means that things are such a dumpster fire at Tech that he chose them over you, or that you were never really serious about hiring him in the first place, which is also curious to me.
Yeah, the one that gets me is the UNLV offensive coordinator. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but
Is that Dennis?
Georgia Tech, Corey Dennis.
Yeah, he went to
Georgia
Memphis?
Tech alum. Nowhere. He's at UNLV still with Dan Mullen.
Oh, the Old Dominion guy went to Memphis, right? That was it.
Yeah, but he's a Georgia Tech alum, which I make it very clear. I hate Tech man. I wish King, if I could go back in time and Haynes King never could say that, I would love it.
Well, I'm
can't stand
indifferent.
it.
It's not that I hate someone being a Tech man. It's just not a factor for me. I'm ambivalent to that. I look over that and I'm like, okay, now the things that actually matter to me.
Well, it's like when your whole recruiting pitch for this recruiting class should have been, hey, did you see our defense? We're terrible. You come play here, you could potentially start day one versus, oh, to come to Georgia Tech, you got to be a Tech man. Like that was the recruiting pitch instead of, hey, we're awful. That's what I would have been telling all these players, that you can have playing time day one instead of you come here, you got to be a Tech man, whatever even that is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But Well, I appreciate the call, man. Well, I guess we'll move on to Slim, but yeah, hopefully things will turn up, man. Hopefully things will turn up.
Hopefully. I mean, like I said, I hope I'm wrong about everything, but I don't think I am.
I'm with you, buddy. Appreciate you calling in.
See you.
Slim, so a Miami man calling in tonight. He's happy.
I am happy, but I'm always happy.
Yeah, you are, man. Well, you know about as crazy as Tech fans think that you are, Slim. Miami has probably more of this kind of thing, I would think, in their fan base, where nothing's ever an issue, everything's fine, don't worry about it.
Well, and the stuff that you're getting, I've been getting for years.
Oh, you're not
Because
a real
I don't
fan?
tend to, oh yeah, because I don't tend to go with the popular opinion in the fan base.
Sure, yeah. Well, I don't care what. Like, I just look at this is just what I believe to be the case. I'm not here to run propaganda for the school or the team or anything. Like, I don't know why that's difficult.
Yeah, and something similar happened at Miami. Mark D'Onofrio was Al Golden's brother-in-law. Like this kind of thing happens in college football as well as every other industry on the face of the planet. People hire their friends, people hire their family.
Sure.
It's just one of those things that happens. I mean, it's not just Miami. Look at Ohio State. Even with an absolutely drug through the mud name, Urban Meyer still hired Zach Smith.
Mm-hmm. That'd be like us hiring Pruitt, I think. Which I wouldn't like, but
here's my thing with Pruitt. Like, I think Pruitt ended up being the fall guy because everybody there wanted to get rid of Pruitt.
Probably.
My thoughts on that tend to be this: money exchanges hands at every program. I do wonder how much of it coaches know, and legitimately, because or at least told about, because coaches come and go. The boosters who are actually peddling all this money around don't.
I'm with you. To me, though, it's moot because whether it's justified what happened to Pruitt doesn't matter because you still got to go through all the hoops as if he's guilty as shit or not. And I don't want to deal with that. Like you still,
Maybe.
you know what I'm saying?
The NCAA is if they're as ineffectual at that as they are as everything else. I mean, is there really much of a hoop to jump through?
I don't know, and that's my point. It's not clear because evidently I think Alabama was thinking about hiring him at one point, and then they went back and forth with the NCAA about this, and it's no one really knows what it would take to hire Pruitt.
Nick Saban was famous for sticking coaches in a closet somewhere and calling them an analyst.
Yeah, but even I think to do that, you'd have to, because of the show cause order, they'd have had to figure that out.
No, because an analyst is not a quote unquote on-field coach. They're technically paid to watch game film and crap like that.
So maybe I need to look into that. I don't know if you have a show cause order. Can you just be an analyst? Can you be the janitor and then give advice? I'm not sure. That's something I probably need to look into, though.
I mean, they could hire him to be a PE teacher on campus if they wanted to, and he'd volunteer to work with the football team.
There you go. Well,
I mean,
before we move on, you've got Oregon coming. No, you got Ole Miss coming up, right?
We've got Ole Miss coming up.
How do you feel about that? Aside from it being hilarious that you probably would have rather played Georgia, right? And it seems like the refs wanted that too, but
yeah. Well, I'm actually kind of I don't know if you watch Lose Your Season Is Over video, but I actually think for the most part, the refs in these playoff games kind of really kept those flags in their pocket and just let them play for the most part. I mean, you had missed calls that everybody's going to point out, but you have that in every football game that's ever played.
Yeah, I think the suspicious thing in that game, me and Pete and Sea Dog were all watching that game and texting back with each other, was how blatant that face mask was with two refs right in front of it, right around the line to
Yeah,
gain, and then
and I
three
agree. That
laser
was a bad thing.
focused penalties against them after they punt. I'm not saying there was wrongdoing. Obviously, maybe they're just stupid. Who knows? But it just it was cause for concern at a minimum.
Yeah, well, you had a couple, in that Miami game. I really thought Carson Beck had that first down that they called that the replay booth overturned, but I mean, whatever.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think the storylines would have been better if we played Georgia. Of course, you have the whole Carson Beck and Georgia thing,
Right.
and I would have loved to have seen how conflicted Sea Dog would have been having to literally cheer on Miami in a game.
We're not
'cause I know he would
conflicted.
have hated that.
We're not conflicted because there's, have you ever heard the term there's levels to this thing? So there's levels to our hate. And right now we hate Notre Dame fans more than we do Miami. It's the,
Dude,
it's,
have they spazzed out worse than Florida State fans did in 22?
yeah,
Or
without
whatever year it was.
without a
23?
leg to stand on, which was the curious thing. Like every person has to win and lose a playoff game, and whoever loses any of the, no matter what round, they should have been in over them. It's wild. Should have been in over Indiana too. They got better players. So, well, all right, man. I appreciate it. We're gonna move along here to Mystic.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mystic, you're on with Wreck. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. Actually sitting here watching Sunday Night Football.
Nice little NFL. So, what do you think about this Godsey hire?
I'm not as negative as other people are. I'm more of a wait and see on it.
Okay. Is there
Don't get
anything
me
you
wrong,
like
he could
about
be
it?
bad.
No, I
mean-
get that, and I'm glad. I want to hear this. My intention for this show was not just to shit on the Godsey hire. I really wanted people to call in and tell me why they thought it was a good hire.
I think the perspective of wait and look at it is he's been, good with tight ends. You can look track record. He's been with good tight ends all his career in the NFL. So for all the people who say Buster never used tight ends, at least he has that track record. So that's a positive.
Okay.
And I think with him being at Baltimore and seeing that style of offense, I'm almost kind of convinced that that's what Brent wants to go back to in terms of being ground and pound and just physical. That's why I think this hire makes a little bit more than just a tech man. Don't get me wrong, there's probably tech man involved, but
Sure.
I think that there's a bit more than just that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, we'll never really know what the intentions behind the hire are unless Key were to tell us that. But look, on a lot of ways, I'm with you. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't like the hire, but I'm gonna support the guys on staff and the players we have, and I'm gonna root for the team. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, I guess you could say, well, he's obviously got a relationship with Key. Maybe that's important. Maybe that means they work well together. They have good synergy. I don't know. Obviously, it seems like him and Winky might be well together. So, yeah, well, I guess we'll wait and see. What about the DC? Is there anyone you like for DC?
Nobody's jumped out off the page at the moment. I wouldn't be upset at Pruitt. I wouldn't, but I really don't want Eric Henderson, mainly just because it's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. He could be great, but I just don't see why you would take someone off Lincoln Riley's defensive staff. That's his whole thing, that he can't play defense.
That's kind of my thought behind that, is like USC's been awful on defense. And I guess to make that hire, you'd have to be saying he's the one exception on that staff to just kind of being a little bit incompetent defensively. And it kind of harkens back to, well, you're just doing it because he's a tech guy. But I don't know. Admittedly, I haven't. Maybe USC's defense is better this year than I think they are. I haven't watched much of them.
I think from what I've heard, it's been okay. But it's still, that's the biggest thing on Lincoln Riley's whole career is his defenses are just always pathetic.
Sure.
And like I say, it's what it is. But one thing about the Godsey thing, I think people overlook, and they point to his OC days in the NFL, and I think those are a bit, I want to say, unfair. Because, at the end of the day, you still have to call the plays and all that. But, like, his thing in Houston, he was giving Brock Osweiler, who was average at his peak.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Bill
Tua.
O'Brien decided to take over play calling 3 games in, which is really odd. But also, Bill O'Brien hired Ted Roof as DC, so I'm not so sure about his common sense.
Well, yeah. Again, my thing is I'm not super concerned with how great or horrible he was in the NFL. My thing the whole time has been he hadn't been in college since before the NIL era, and that's my concern.
Right. Well, I mean, kind of some people, I don't know how your opinion is on it, and it's just the way I look at it is people look at it like NFL light, which might be why they're going to the NFL to get some of the guys. Because it's so much money going around that it almost is kind of like an NFL with less rules.
But it's not, because there are clear rules in the NFL. There's clear rules as to when you can contact
No. I'm
a
saying like
player.
there's no rules in college, but like you can base off the NFL. You can kind of base an idea of how to do it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think you're saying they're similar because they're both paying players, but that would be where the similarities
That's
end.
a part of it, but like, there's more to it than just that. Like, outside of paying players and NIL and all this, even the schemes and all that, it's more similar than not.
Maybe. I mean, I think the schemes in college have to be different and simpler just because you got to bring portal players in. You got to bring a portal quarterback in to be able to get the system in a year and then leave. So my intuition is that the schemes are different in the NFL. But I'm not an expert on it, and I hope I'm wrong. But we'll move on to Joelish down bad. I appreciate it, Mystic. You have any final words here?
Fuck the Ravens.
All right, fuck the Ravens. Pretty reasonable. What's going on, Joe? Joelish down bad.
I'm down bad like the Tack Yellow Jackets right now.
Yeah, man. I'm assuming that you're not thrilled about the hire.
To be honest, I'm pretty neutral on it. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I feel like I'm just kind of apathetic about it. I'm not thrilled, but I don't hate it. I just say give them a year, see what happens, and go from there.
Then maybe this is the better question. As we're watching Tech's offense this year, what is the threshold we're looking to clear offensively? Do we need to be a top 25 offense, top 30? What would be a success for Godsey this year as an OC?
I think breaking into top 25 would be like, I guess, in my opinion, the threshold, and not overall, just like as an offense. But that being said, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I don't even know if that's possible. I mean, you got to look at like the offensive players that we've lost. There's a part of me that feels like in his first year, I don't think that that's going to happen. If he already had a roster, then I could say, okay, that's the threshold. But with the complete gutting that's going on right now, I don't even know if that's even possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, generally, I give a guy a pretty long leash in year one. And the things I would look at are like situationally, how well does he adjust to what's going on in the game? What does the play calling look like situationally? How are we utilizing the players that we do have? So I think it's a fair point. Like, it's hard to say like that he needs to hit this number. Probably like you'll know it when you see it. Like if you like the hire, you'll know it when you see it. And I'll give him all the credit in the world if I think he's doing a great job at Tech for sure.
I'd say my thought on it is like, I feel like we have a pretty good game in Atlanta against Tennessee. I think how we show up in that game is going to ultimately determine my thoughts on a lot of this stuff because Tennessee and us have a lot of but we both have a lot of turnover. So I don't know. They're probably, in my opinion, I probably think they're going to win. But how we
Yeah.
show up in that game, I think is going to be a big form factor for me.
Yeah, that's game 1, right? Is that our first game of the year?
I think it's game 2. I could be wrong, but I think it's game 2.
Yeah, we open up with Colorado, right? in
Yeah, because I
Atlanta.
know we got Colorado coming here too. Shoot, maybe that's a better game. Maybe we should cross that one off first.
Yeah, and they're maybe down worse than Tech is. I mean, they've had a mass exodus of coaches. I don't think they have a single defensive lineman returning on their roster, period. Maybe they've signed some people in the portal. Colorado in a bad way, so maybe that'll be a good matchup week 1.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that Colorado game might tell us more in terms of, because if we struggle in that game, it's going to be a long season.
Probably.
But yeah, I don't know. I've been kind of going back and forth on my thoughts on a lot of it, and to be honest, like I've just kind of set my expectations to be like we should just strive to make a bowl game next year. I'm not really confident.
I agree.
Much beyond that.
I agree.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think about players. I know. Yeah, I mean wide receivers. Are we keeping Hosley though so far?
To my knowledge, I haven't heard anything about Hosley entering the portal, intending to enter the portal, none of that. So that's good news. You would think if he was hitting the portal, he would have done it by now. But
yeah, so it's like
who knows? It's
yeah.
the portal period's 2 weeks. I think it ends January the 15th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that we're keeping him at least for now. And then, yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I think that's the thing. That's another question I had too. Is I mean, when do you think we'll start maybe getting some trickle in terms of guys we're picking up in the transfer portal?
I don't know. I mean, evidently we just signed this defensive lineman from Rutgers. I mean, I don't really have a pulse on it. I mean, I don't know timeline-wise. I tell you what I expect is to hit on some big defensive linemen. That's a huge need. And we definitely probably want to go get a quarterback. We need at least one guy that can come in and compete. And we need probably 3 wide receivers in the portal, one of which can be, a pretty good player for you because we're losing Eric Rivers, Zion Taylor's in the portal. We're losing Malik Rutherford to graduation. Some Gatlin guy hit the portal, I think. I haven't heard Jordan Allen, though. Canyon. If we can keep Jordan Allen, that would be really good to have that guy in the slot. But it's almost like we've lost so much, it's hard to say what is killing you the quickest right now. Like it's hard for me to identify that.
Yeah. I think too, and this is the last thing I had to say is just I think this is like I've been someone who, and I think like you, like I've supported Brent Key. I think he's a good coach. I think he's been good for the program. I think this is going to be a year where it's like, all right, you got to nut up this year. Like this is going to be a make or break year for him in terms of. Now again, like I said, my expectations bowl game. We ain't beating Georgia this year coming up, so I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling where it's like my expectations are low, but my expectations for Key is like you better not let this completely fall off a cliff, or else it is going to be reflecting badly on him.
Well, I think for really any fan base, your bare minimum expectation should be to make a bowl game. Like that's to me is bare minimum expectation, which I think is where we are now. And I'm with you. Probably no one a bigger Brent Key supporter than me, but I take a scientific approach to it. And when I see evidence to the contrary, evidence that says I need to be concerned, then I'm concerned. And how the season ended is extremely concerning, especially with who knows what is true, all these rumors floating around about what might be going on internally.
Yeah. Well, before I get out of here, I just say at least we're not UGA losing 3 times in one game to a team that doesn't even have a coach. So, yeah, to hell with Georgia.
Hell with Georgia. Guy's not a real fan, though. He didn't support it outright. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it open for a little while longer. I was really hoping someone that really, like these people I see on Twitter and in my comment section, I was really hoping one of them would call in and be able to explain to me in real time where I'm so moronic on this. But as I suspected, I mean, they would much rather just peruse the comment section where they have all the time in the world to think about whatever the hell they're going to say. But we'll go through the comments here. What truly sucks is that our fan base truly started to show up and stick this year. I was at the Pitt game and we had a loud and full crowd almost the whole game. Think that might change next year. Yeah. I think we'll have good turnouts early. But if we start getting rolled and embarrassed, week 3, 4, whoever we play, like, people are not going to want to show up for that. I mean, it just is what it is. And there's really not many fan bases that are exempt from that. Like, I think South Carolina sold out a bunch of games when they were not making bowls for however many years. But for the most part, if you're stinking it up on the field, I mean, it's not great, So, now, speaking of stinking it up, things are stinking at Tech right now. It feels that way. But we don't have to. You can use King's Ransom. You can get a little aftershave cologne, take the edge off a little bit there. They got premium beard oils. And we did go 8-0 with that. You can go to kingsransomusa.com. You can use promo code WreckTalk. Not going to be available much longer. Raheem Morris is going to be DC. Well, I think, did I just see that, is it official that Raheem Morris is fired? I think that is official, right? Yeah, we'll go get Raheem Morris. Go get another NFL guy. I think 5 wins will be the ceiling as of now. Well, I'm not in a position to say what the ceiling is and the floor is when I don't know what the team's going to look like. Let's scroll up here and see what you guys are saying. The NIL era is totally different now than it was a year ago. Yeah, I mean, it's totally different every single year. Like, now we're seeing teams suing athletes for hitting the portal, athletes suing schools for in any way trying to behold them to a contract, athletes suing coaches like they did at Florida. I mean, it's completely wild. I feel like you can't even qualify a top ranks offense without a roster. That's true. You need a 2,500-yard passer, 2 running backs over 550. If he's amazing with tight ends, you'll need a standout at that position. The question is better discussed in defense. We had a top 15 offense, and defense was 100-ish. Yeah, the weird thing for Key is the best defense I feel like we had was when he took over as interim. I mean, what was it, Charlie Thomas? And the defenses is what won us those games, being 3 touchdown underdogs on the road. Stantucci did a really good job, but I feel like the best we played defensively was when Key took over as interim. Tennessee is getting a bunch of new coaches, but they are all good ones, in my opinion. Okay. We actually have a solid staff. Okay. Says Big Orange here. Georgia Tech is down to having their 3rd string quarterback as a starter as of now. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to go get one in the portal. Hosley and Allen are must-keeps. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose literally everyone. We do need edge rushers badly. I mean, we need a lot of things. Linebackers, wide receivers. We need that UNLV quarterback plus UNLV offensive coordinator. Well, that ship has sailed. I'll be looking to see when we're going to officially announce this thing. You would think tomorrow or Tuesday, right? I mean, we still haven't officially announced Godsey as the coordinator. Now, people were talking about in the chat, we also made a hire on the defensive staff. We hired running backs coach, too, from TCU, but what is it, Sunnery, whatever the hell his name is, co-defensive coordinator at Florida. Do like that hire. Do really like that hire. He was. I don't know. I wanted Lagway, huh? Okay. I do think Winky being a quarterback coach is a little limiting when most OCs want control over that room. Yeah, that's kind of the stuff that gets mushed together. Is like, you see all these posts like, oh, Godsey's good at developing tight ends. Then you'll see another thing. Actually, he's great at developing quarterbacks. And it's like, well, I mean, you're not bringing him in to be your tight ends coach. And if he's great at developing quarterbacks, then you're paying Winky like $800,000 a year or something, which makes you wonder what you're going to pay Godsey. Maybe not that much, 600, 700,000, somewhere around there. You can't have Winky make more than your OC, can you? Anyways, what else do we need? What else do we need to talk about? I mean, I think we've said a lot. I mean, I hate to see, at least online, the fan base kind of as fractured as it seems to be at the moment. I mean, a lot of that is remedied by winning, but I guess I'll end the show with this. This is kind of how I see it. Obviously, I'm rooting for Tech next year, and I want Godsey to do well. But all the evidence you see in front of you says this it just doesn't seem like a well-rounded decision. I kind of liking it to, I take a second mortgage out on my house, and then I go to the casino, and I put all of it on red 18, and it hits. Does that mean that I'm some kind of genius? Does that mean I'm some kind of 500 IQ investor? Or did you kind of get away with one? I mean, that's kind of how I feel about this. Even if things seem well in the first year here, the whole process that led you to that, I just don't know about. Yeah, Key is now in Provis mode. That's the other thing. I think he really undid. I mean, tell me what you think in the chat. It feels like he really undid a lot of goodwill with the fan base. We were all behind him. We were all showing up. We were all behind this team. And then all of that was really undone. And then, like I've said with other coaches, once you start this downward spiral, everything you do is under a magnifying glass after that. All the silly shit on the ACC huddle, all the silly shit that he does on the sideline with Haynes B. Haynes in that bowl game. What the hell is that? You're acting like someone that hadn't had your only win come against Boston College. You know what I'm saying? Like the press conference stuff. Like I no longer believe what the guy says in press conferences anymore with how all this went down. Because I used to think, like, say what you want about Key. He's got a lot of things to learn. But at least I think you can take him at his word. I think he's an authentic guy. I think he's straightforward. I don't necessarily know about that anymore. I don't know about that. Get the whiteboard out. What am I going to put on the whiteboard? Hey, we're fucked. It's a perfect title. Listen to another coach get interviewed versus Key. It's night and day. Yeah, and look, I mean, you're kind of nitpicking when you're talking about what he does in press conferences. I don't think he's great in press conferences, but I mean, who really cares? Nick Saban wasn't great in press conferences. That doesn't matter. All I'm saying is once the train starts coming off the track, all that comes under a microscope. So the thing is, now my impression of Key is he's someone that kind of could fall into some cognitive dissonance and just really entrench in what he thinks. In other words, I feel like he might look at last season as like people are just unloyal and they fucked me. And if they just would have kept going along with this or whatever, they wouldn't have left. Everything would have worked out. I don't know. It's all on how he shows up and starts next year. Yeah, he can completely get all of this goodwill back. You come out next year, and yeah, David. David, anyone that thinks I'm off base, and that's genuine. There's a link at the top of the chat. You can call in. Tell me why you think everything is fine. Losing your entire staff, basically, minus 2 guys, all these guys in the portal, all this bullshit surrounding the program, losing all these games. I would like for you to call in and tell me how, in what world that means everything's fine. Because Coley Quinlan can't come up with a single question. Every big school in the country would want Key to take over their program if they needed to hire a coach. We don't deserve to be mad at him. Who's wanting to hire Brent Key right now, you think? Because when he was this hot commodity, it was before all of this. I don't understand what you mean by deserve. What the hell do you mean by deserve? This is something else that happens is like you dictate how people can respond to something. And a lot of these people that feel this way, I would like to know what they thought prior to Brent Key. All right. Got it. What's going on? We took this username. What's going on?
Hey man, no, I mean, Key made it pretty obvious early on that he wanted to stay at Tech. There were 15 schools that needed a coach, and they were busting the door down to get Brent Key.
Right.
That's just how I feel. I'm not an insider or anything. So, it's okay to criticize. Certainly, I'm not happy with how that end of that season went for sure. I think that, we've blown a lot of games under Brent Key's tenure, obviously. But just because it wasn't super public that schools were going after him, you don't think Penn State would have snatched him up in a second if he wasn't committed to Georgia Tech?
I don't know. I know he didn't go there, and I know that they had their dick left in their hand late in that cycle.
And replace that with just about any school, But in offensive, I feel you. I'm on your side about the defense. We can replace receivers. We can replace running backs. There's 3 or 4 good quarterbacks out there. I'm not worried about the offense. I could sit up in the play booth and call pass or run all day long, right? Godsey will be fine. He's got plenty of experience to call plays. I'm not worried about that. Get me a top 60 defense, and then we could be worse on offense. I really think that I'm not as worried about that. Certainly, we've lost most of our receivers, but and then you mentioned something earlier. It's like, when are we going to start getting these portal players in? That's when I'm going to start worrying, is when I don't see anybody being replaced.
Who's the biggest portal name we've landed under Key?
Probably Rivers.
Yep.
Probably Rivers. And maybe Romello Height.
Yep. Romello Height was big.
Lost him.
And
obviously you can name more to be lost. Hosley would probably be the third one, I would say.
So I'm not with you on not being at all worried about the offense. So are you saying you're not worried about losing? You're going to have an entirely new staff. Your heir apparent left. Your best wide receiver, your best 3 wide receivers left. You don't have a single guy has an in-game snap at center. Is any of that concerning to you? Or do you just think you just call run or pass and kind of all that takes care of itself?
I think in college football, offense takes care of itself. It's an offensive game. We need to focus on the defense. That's
what Florida did. Out there. Florida did that.
And you can make a case that, their coaching problem was 100 times worse than ours. I didn't think that they had anybody set up, and that's why they went after our offensive coordinator. And I'm thinking Buster Faulkner was good, but you could have put, any of those offensive assistants up there to call plays, I don't think it would have been much of a difference. We had playmakers on the field. Scheme, yeah, that's important. I'm not worried about Godsey up there calling plays.
So you
I'm
don't
not.
you don't
And
think it matters who the OC is?
No,
You
I
just
really
put
don't.
a brain dead
If
monkey
you
up
put
there, and
a brain dead monkey up there, it's a problem. But somebody with the experience of Godsey, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I think Georgia Tech can compete against ACC defenses on offense. Like I said, color me worried in a couple weeks when I see no replacements at all. I don't think that's going to happen. That's kind of where but I'm very, 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 I might be worse than you on defense. I feel miserable about that. Ever since I was in middle school, we've had a terrible defense. I think 2006 was the last good defense we had. And it's driving me crazy to see all these good offensive teams that produce on offense. And then we turn around and give up a 30-yard pass, 30-yard. It's just, I'm getting
we
sick
were
of it.
awful on defense, for sure.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And
Yeah.
we were we were bad on offense at the worst times too. I guess I would
Yeah.
push back and say we had a ton of talent on offense when Pat Node was the OC. Why did that not work? Are you saying that Sims was just an awful quarterback and all we had was Gibbs? I guess.
Well, I mean, okay, I will. I guess I needed to preface this. Like, I kind of just disassociate from the Jeff Collins era, right? I mean, it just was so miserably bad. But even then, I mean, we put up 50 against Louisville. We put up, good offensive games here and there. But
got shut out in
kinda
the last two of the
disassociate from
third
that.
year.
Right. I mean, I disassociate from that little era there. Trust me. I mean, I
Okay.
had a little bit of optimism about Collins. And then all the raw stuff. Me and you, I watched a good bit of your videos. Me and you are 100% agreeing about Collins, right?
All
But
right, we'll move on from the offense then. I don't agree with you that just anyone can be an OC, but that's fine. Defensively, I don't. You're right, and I haven't been as focused on that. This is where I think I criticized Key for this before all this stuff happened. That you now are going to be hiring your fifth DC in 4 years. I think, right? That to me seems make no mistake, college football is a talent acquisition game. You got to have talent. There's one Kirk Signetti out there that's making weird stuff happen that's great with players that people didn't see the value in. I imagine it's very difficult to recruit defensive players. Like, I'm worried about Tay Harris. You don't have a DC, you got Tay Harris, you'd probably like to keep. I don't know what the deal is with the defense. I don't know. I don't even know who we want to get at DC.
Well, we shuffle, like you said. I mean, that's one of the problems, right? We shuffle defensive coordinators, right? It's like the high school football team that hires a new head coach every year. You're just not going to be able to gain that momentum as a program, right? So I agree. That's where the problem lies. And why is Key running off all of his, defensive coordinators? Is he too hard on his staff? Is he trying to take too much of a Saban approach? I agree there's problems, but I have to look at it and say there's a lot of programs in this country that would have liked to take Key, and I think that he specifically wanted to stay at Tech, and I think programs knew that. But defense, something's got to change. He's not going to have a job in a couple of years at Tech if the defense keeps up like this. And I'm just not too worried about the other side of the football. And we could be much worse on offense next. I mean, we should be much worse without Haynes King next year. But when it comes to defense in Philo, but and on a side note, like, I'm not way too worried about Knowles. I mean, he's got an Olympic father. He's got a bikini model mom. He's 6'7". The guy's got an arm. I think he could step in and be a Haynes King. Maybe not, sans the legs, but I mean, I'm not feeling too hard on him. I mean, Canyon's is where I'm kind of most upset about, right? Him leaving. But
I see you back there, Randall Scott. We're going to get to you next. Yeah, my big question would be, why did Santucci really leave? Because if he was just wanting to go to the NFL, why did he come to Tech from Duke?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there might be something in there, with his leadership style that we haven't noticed yet. But yeah, that's it. That's just kind of want to say is that, I disagree with you. I think Godsey was perfectly fine hire, and I keep accidentally saying Gailey, but Key knows him personally. Maybe that helps, right? That he understands how Key can be. So I think that helps. But yeah, I mean, we might disagree there, but we're in agreement, on how bad the defense is, and that's really where I'm focusing. Godsey being the offensive coordinator, that doesn't bother me. So that's kind of all I wanted to push back on a little bit.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yep, no worries.
Just as far as Knowles, I have no idea what Knowles is going to be like. Haven't seen him play. Got to see him play. Randall Scott, what's going on, man? What do you think about all this?
Hey, Rick. Yeah, I keep hearing the same thing, that there are a lot of people who are very confident in Graham Knowles. And I have a lot of questions for those people. What film have you watched? Like, have you seen this guy play? No offense to the
No,
last
I
guy who
haven't.
called in, but I think I'm going to be honest, the only opinion that I actually heard from him that I liked was he is probably not going to last too long at Tech if he doesn't solve the defense.
Sure. Well, look, I don't have the all 22 of Knowles or something. I don't, Tech doesn't provide me the film on Knowles. I got to see him play in a game to tell you what Knowles is going to be like. I have no idea. My thing would be just assuming he's going to be great. I don't really know how you get there. He played 6A Texas football. A lot of guys did that aren't good in college. So I don't know. There's no litmus test like Saturday. Have to see. Go ahead.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the main concern with everything going on as far as the Tex players and their staff is it's not that I know for a fact that someone's going to be bad or Godsey's going to be good or terrible. It's just like I'm in this cycle of like we're in a category where we're just like, hey, we don't know how they're going to perform. And in my opinion, that's more frustrating than knowing for a fact that someone's just going to be terrible at their job.
Well, obviously, I mean, no matter what happened in the past, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. That's why I look at, all right, let's look at his resume. When was his last college experience? I would imagine is going to be important. And there's a lot of boxes that he doesn't check. It seems like the one main one he checks is a Tech guy. And I don't know. Why does Key need his best friend to be OC? I don't know. Why is that so important?
Yeah, and people will also point to oh my gosh, I'm already drawing a blank. People will already point to the relationship that Kirby Smart has with Mike Bobo. The difference is, I don't know Bobo gets a lot of flack too, but the difference is Bobo has kind of proven that he can get Georgia to the playoffs and to the SEC championship year after year. What has Godsey proven exactly?
Yeah, I don't
honestly, and
I don't understand.
I know I'm ranting. Oh,
No,
sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand the Bobo. Like, oh well, this is just like Bobo. It's not. Bobo was an OC at Georgia before and averaged about 40 points a game at Georgia with them. He's been a head coach in college before at Colorado State. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they punted against Ole Miss when they played them. Like, I've said all year, I don't understand why Georgia fans hate Mike Bobo. All he does is average 30, 40 points a game for you. Tell me the equivalent experience that's even remotely like that George Godsey has. So I don't get the equivalency.
Yeah, the truth is I can't. And I went ahead and looked up his resume about his OC and where he's at or where he was as a tight ends coach. I heard that he had some success with the Miami Dolphins, but at the same time, it's have the Dolphins really. I don't really even know that much about Dolphins football because the last time I remember them actually making it to a wild card playoff game was when the Falcons still had Julio Jones and Matt Ryan.
Well, I think what people are going to say is, well, he had Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback, and they were this is like the rose-colored glasses look of this. They were tanking. He's actually a really good OC that was the victim of spurious circumstance. When that's the case, you get hired as an OC right after that. So if a staff is wiped and you are a competent OC, you get hired as an OC. You don't, if you know what you're doing as an OC, you don't generally then go be a position coach for the next 7 years or however long. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, most certainly.
I don't think it's actually been that long, 4 years, whatever it's been since he was at Miami. But yeah, it's odd.
It is very odd, and I'm drawing a blank on UNLV's
Dennis.
offensive coordinator. I remember somebody saying he was a tech guy.
Yes.
And my question to them is like, oh, well, if Key just wanted a tech guy, then what was wrong with him?
Yeah, a guy that's a current OC, that's had success recently as an OC, coached in the modern era of college football. I don't know. I don't have an answer for this. These are all, I think, really good questions.
Well, this is what I would really say, and I know I'm kind of reliving a bad moment at the moment, but I remember you when you made that one video after the Pitt game, and you said if you want to hear an opinion that's really just out there and just absolutely crazy, go to one of the Facebook groups. And
No.
oh my gosh, did you hit the nail on the head?
Oh yeah, they'll kick you out for being
for sure.
critical. During the Collins years, they were kicking people out for being critical of Collins late into Collins' tenure at Tech. I mean, it's wild. It's an echo chamber.
And one of the
everything's
the
fine.
craziest things, and I'm not going to list anybody's name, and well, mostly it's because I can't remember their names. I'm glad I forgot them.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that I hear from them, they'll make this argument saying, "Oh, well, some of us watched Tech football in the '60s and '70s, and they want us to give them the benefit of the doubt that since they actually know old school football when Tech was the juggernaut of back in the day during that decade, then we can basically say, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm talking about."
Yeah,
No, dude,
they don't.
I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. In fact, and I know I'm ranting a little bit, but the only reason that I would actually give you guys the benefit of the doubt in the first place is because I have so much faith in this team. But since you want to go ahead and use wishy-washy words and only tell me what you're not saying, it makes it a little bit hard to take you guys seriously.
Well, they try and pull this like, I forgot more about football than you'll ever know, and back in the 60s, and no one gives a flying fuck about any of that. I mean, is that clear? Is that clear enough? It's like the Gib West guy. Well, I was the backup offensive lineman in the 60s. No one doesn't mean anything. None of these people will address a single pointed fact that you put out because they don't know what the facts are. They don't even know what they're looking at. I guarantee you, if I first of all, none of them are going to call in. That I know for certain. If I were to just show a clip of a play from a bird's eye view and I said, what defensive shell are they in? What coverage are they in? I guarantee you not a single one of them could tell you. But they'll tell you you're a moron and you don't know anything about football. I guarantee if you just ask them what route was run there, just look at this receiver, tell me what route he ran. They're not going to be able to tell you. But you're the one who's not the real fan and football ignorant. I don't have any time for any of those people. In fact, I think. Go ahead.
I said they kind of remind me of people who I know who basically are not in my field and want to go ahead and talk about because I'm a pilot for a living, and I've had some of those people who approach me and think they know a lot about aviation. And they'll say, oh, yeah, I can go ahead and explain exactly how an airplane works. And I'll just go ahead and sit back and just let them talk. But when in reality, I'm giving them the smile that I'm actually laughing at them because their opinions are just so dang wrong.
Yeah.
I have to go into the other room because I'm trying not to laugh.
I'll give you the equivalent there. Do you fly with a co-pilot on any of these planes, or is it just you?
I do sometimes, but mostly my co-pilots are just students that I'm instructing.
Right. So it would be like if you had a co-pilot that was older, and you're the captain. They say, we don't got to worry about the checklist. Okay, let's just go. And
Red flag number one right there.
And there are pilots that do that. That's the equivalent of it's like, okay, I guess we're all going to die when something fails because we didn't do the check. We don't have to do the landing checklist. Just visual in there, and we're good. But yeah, I mean, and look, I don't think there's a ton of guys like that, but there are an uncomfortable number of them that are just. The truth is that they're just nasty and hateful for no reason, right? Like that one guy calls me Francis, won't call in because he's a pussy. Let's just call that what it is. Because he knows the minute he gets on here that he's going to get bodied right there because he's not going to know what he's talking about. And then he'll say, well, you need to calm down. Well, dude, you're calling me all this stuff and saying I'm an idiot. And then when I engage with you, I win. You showed me more attention than anyone has in my life. Again, the same thing Florida State fans. These people are no different than Colorado fans. And though they like to say I need to go join a UGA bandwagon, they're no different than them either in reality in how they action themselves.
And you bring up a really good point because I like to make fun of Georgia fans, Miami fans. I really laughed at Colorado fans this year, but honestly, the next thing that I said was, I'm actually shocked what type of people we have in our fan base. It was one of those. The joke I have is like some of the stuff that comes out of their mouths just makes me want to make the Tucker Carlson face when he was on Fox News. If you ever saw that.
I have, yeah. Yeah. I mean, every fan base has that. I think because I just think we've been in the barrel and we kind of thought that, we're a step above that. And in that, I think that I'm part of the problem and just kind of not acknowledging that exists. But I see it now. And like, my whole thing is I'm going to call out what I think is stupidity wherever I see it. If it's a Florida fan, if it's a Florida State fan, if it's Miami, if it's Georgia Tech, and I think it's dumb, I'm going to say that.
Also, this is besides the point, but the guy who called you Francis, is that a YouTuber reference? I didn't understand that at all.
It's an archaic reference. Yeah, he's calling me a girl's name, and I guess that's supposed to be offensive. I don't really know, but whatever. I told him what section I sit in. You can come by anytime. Godsey is under contract with the Ravens, and he could not let them know he was leaving for Tech until the season ends, or it's too late to put someone else in his slot. That's my opinion. Okay. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how the NFL rules work, but anyways, man, I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate you calling in, man. I know you've come up and seen me in Section 106, and I appreciate it, buddy.
Oh yeah, and I just wanted to say, you're making good content. And I'm really happy for what you and Sea Dog do. I just want to say, keep it up, man. I'm a techie till I die.
All right, man. I appreciate it. I'll say one last thing, and this is where I've been part of the problem because I've seen this comment a lot too. We'll end the show on this. I've really made a brand on YouTube of hating Jeff Collins. And I still hate Jeff Collins. If I see Jeff Collins, it's on site. Okay? But I've seen a lot of comments that are like, well, at least it's not Collins. And I'm going to tell you, at some point, we got to move beyond that as the measuring stick. I mean, how many years are going to have to go by before we say, I think it's okay to criticize the current guy, even though he's better than Collins. Saying you're better than Collins is like saying, well, at least we're not literally eating dog turds. They just look like it. I just think at some point you gotta move on. And I'm talking to myself as much as anybody, right? So I appreciate everyone who called in. This is probably the best call-in show we've had thus far. I appreciate everyone for showing up, showing out. And look, no matter what happens, like Randall there said, Georgia Tech till I die. Y'all have a good one.